everyone, welcome back to HARVESTPOD. Today we're talking about something very interesting and very on theme for this month. Before we get into that, I'm your lovely co-host and I'm joined with two of my other lovely, beautiful co-hosts. I'm Benny.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And my name is Ife Dayo.
And shout out to Mide. Today we're talking about the modern day woman versus Esther. You know, we've talked about a lot of women in the Bible, but how does it relate to our modern day culture, the way of life, and how we live? How can we emulate the virtues and values of the woman or the women that we have grown to read and love in the Bible?
Yeah. Speaking of Esther, Esther was a Jewish orphan who was raised by her cousin Mordecai, who later became the queen of Persia, thanks to the lovely Queen Vashti. Anyways, the real turning point for Esther was when there was a plot against the Jewish people, and Esther suddenly found herself in a position where she could either stay silent or risk everything and speak up.
Yeah, I know the society today relating to the modern woman tells us our women should be independent, successful, live a soft life, and just be like the all-round woman. And we're just trying to relate this to the story of Esther. What does the Bible really say? What did Esther do that we can relate to the modern woman and how we can balance our life?
Yeah.
I think one of the most beautiful parts of that story is when Esther actually realized that her position was not just a position. Like, she was just not picked to become a queen, like, you know, because she was she was a Jewish, and the king did not know she was Jewish at that point. But you know, like, realizing that I'm not a queen just for myself. I'm here for a higher purpose. I'm here, you know, for another reason, and that's to, you know, bring my people out of captivity, out of this, you know,
out of the plot to kill them. I think I get what you mean there. But you did mention something about Esther being courageous, finding favor and all of that. But I want us to go right back to the beginning. Esther did not just find favor.
Yeah.
Esther did not just find courage. There were so many processes before that
went
time.
in, yeah.
Yeah, if you go back to the time before Esther even became a queen, there was about a period of 12 months when she was prepared for this role. She had the mentorship of her cousin Mordecai, who advised her on how to go about it. Mordecai would always come back to check on her because they were housed for a while, where they were groomed, and then the queen was eventually appointed amongst many. So she had people who she listened to. She had the mentorship. And then I'd like to say that actually grew her courage.
Yeah.
And the bit where she found favor in the sight of the Lord was beautiful. But even after she discovered the plot, she didn't just go to the king to say, hey, there's a plot, oh, you people, I know that I'm the king queen now, this is what is happening. She was really wise about it. She asked the people to fast for 3 days. So there was a period of waiting.
There's a period of waiting. And I'll just relate this to the modern woman, because most times when we're in rooms and, let's say, positions and all, the society believes that, oh, the woman should not speak up, the woman should not do this. And this really brings down a lot of confidence that women have. And most times when they're in a room bored or anything, you see that people, most women will not speak. They'll be like, oh, let the men speak. But one thing I picked up from Esther's story is that she already did the background work. She already did the work at home. So she had gotten to the position where they could not just shut her up. She could speak, and queen, she could even advise the king on what to do. And that's because she has done the background work. And this just says to us that we should do our work. We should do our homework. We should do our own training and working back home, so that when we're outside, we can stand for ourselves and we can be confident about it.
So there's something we were mentioning about Esther, and I really just wanted to bring our attention to this. Esther, it's very easy to say that Esther is from those days when things were easier, or when all you had to do was obey your master, in quote.
Yeah.
Today, it's almost a different ball game, but we can still emulate the likes of Esther, right? It was very easy for Esther to say, oh, I'm the queen. There's a plot against my people. I'm just going to go there and say, this is what was going on, king, dear king. Or she can even command her service. I like to believe that as the queen, she had people at her beck and call, and she can easily just find somewhere to manipulate it. But she chose wisdom. And she did not just find that wisdom, she found the wisdom from God. This is to say that where you are in a position of power, it's not enough to say that I have this power, I have the ability, I have the strength. I'm just going to do this, and that's it. And that's what we are seeing. That's what we are seeing today. A lot of women in leadership position are not getting the right advice, are not getting the right counsel. Perhaps this is because we don't have a place of mentorship or guidance in our lives. It could be because we just think that we are self-sufficient. But this is to say that, guys, always seek the face of God. Ensure that you have an authority that you submit to. For instance, Mordecai, when these things happen, Esther was sure to consult people, consult God, right? And I'm sure that there are other examples in the Bible that we can emulate.
Yeah. We can also talk about Ruth and Naomi. Like, that's a very powerful story of loyalty and, you know, value of relationships. Because just buttressing on the point of mentorship, like, who are the people you surround yourself with? Do you have a small group in church that you're a part of? Do you have people that you can speak to, that can pray with you, that can speak life into you? Do you have friends that you can call and say, hi babe, I'm a bit down today, I just need somebody to pray with me or pray for me? So those are the kind of beautiful stories in the Bible that, you know, these are women that uplifted each other and brought themselves far. Like, you know, do you get what I mean?
And speaking on that, I would just like to talk about influence for the modern woman. Because a lot of people just be like, oh, I'm not in a big room, I'm not in the board or anything. I think influence starts from your little circle, from your own house. Decisions that you can make that would affect other people around you. So the influence really starts from the little places we find ourselves, amongst our friends, our group in church and all. So influence can mean anything. It could be big and it could be small. But I feel like there's no influence that go unnoticed. Just as we're a little group like this, there are some things that I would say or that I would do that would influence the rest of you. And that's why we need to be very careful about how we live our life, because some people just mirror us and just be like, oh, I like what this lady does and I want to do the same thing, or this lady do this and I just want to follow her footpath and all. So influence goes a long way wherever we find ourselves, whether little groups or big groups. Let's just be ready to make good influences.
That's right. Esther is very popular for saying, if I perish, I perish. Actually, I'm very guilty of that. I'm always saying, oh, if I perish, I perish, I perish. But what are we perishing for? Guys, don't perish.
Please don't perish.
Because with God, you actually don't even have to perish. He has already said it in his word that, you know, he has provided for us even before, like he has made all grace to abound for us. So, you know, we are all sufficient in God. And that's one of my favorite things about the Bible and the stories in the Bible. Like, we think that these are things that have happened a long time ago, but that's like the blueprint.
The fact that we can relate it to the modern
how we
way.
can, you know, live even now. Because Esther's stories shows us that, you know, God doesn't just place us in rooms. We all have purpose. We all have a reason. But the only way we can come into our purpose, the only way we can be courageous is just by going back to the drawing board, reading the word. I would implore, you know, our viewers to go back and read the story of Esther. That's a very, very beautiful story. And, you know, just moving forward, knowing that so much work has been done, the likes of queens, of Esther, of Ruth, of all the other strong and courageous women in the Bible have paved the way for us and have showed us that our options are truly limited. And so to all the beautiful women in the world, we have a message for you, and I'll let Ifedayo tell you.
Yeah, so what I'll just say is that be confident, which is very important, and also don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself and just say, oh, I'm a woman, I should be at home, I should be doing it. There are a lot of possibilities for you as a woman. There are a lot of places where you can sit and speak and people would listen to you. And there are a lot of places where you can make decisions, huge decisions and big ones. So we're leaving you with this, saying that be like Esther, do your homework, do your background work, pray fast. You need to pray and fast before you make some decisions. You know, when you pray and fast, before you come out and say, oh, I think we should do this or I think we should do that, God has already gone before you to already settle their mind and put their mind in that position where they will agree with you. So
it says all the crooked parts have been made straight.
You get it. So
God is such a girl dad, actually. He's such a girl dad.
yes, he is.
He's such a girl dad. As a woman, just know that you have a daddy that cares
About
you.
you.
Have backing, literally. And well, true.
Yeah, so I just wanted to really chip this one in because I think that both of you have actually said it. I'm just going to reiterate that Esther's story reminds us that sometimes God puts us in rooms that we may not be qualified for. I'm going to take you all the way back to that story again. Esther was an orphan. Esther was Jewish. There were women who were far more qualified than
her.
Esther. We should also say the only reason why Esther became queen was because another woman, Queen Vashti, arguably, let that role get into her, that the king called upon her and she did not honor the queen. And that's to any other woman out there who is already in a role and perhaps living out the space of the Holy Spirit in everything that you do, in guiding your decisions, in making things right. Ensure that you put God first. Don't forget the place of mentorship and the place of authority over your life, no matter the role that you are today.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of HARVESTPOD. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye. Okay, I think that...